Your boy Dion coming in hot with that 420 special. I got you back. Today we're going to be talking about being under the influence. And what does that mean today? I'm going to ask you, what's got you under the influence? It may be what you think, may not. Let's talk about it. My name is Dion Williams, aka Dion Does, and I truly believe that we were all created in the image of the ultimate creator, and therefore it's in us all to create. And this show aims to help you and I both level up in this four-dimensional game of life so that we can go out and create for good, whether that's for ourselves, our family, the community around us, but all of this a part of a generational vision of a family of creators coming together to be the difference. Creator fam, welcome back. Man, oh man, do I appreciate you guys. I don't know what exact episode this is. I don't want to be wrong and guess, but I know we're under 30, but we're closing in on one, man. We're closing in on, by one, I mean 1 month of daily podcast episodes, and the support has been phenomenal. I appreciate you guys. Please keep it up. But like I was saying, man, your boy got the 420 special for you. Unfortunately, because he's dropped at midnight, technically, this is going out on 4/21, but I'm recording it on 4/20, and I thought it would be an interesting idea to kind of play with, and I'm going to use it as an analogy. So, nope, I might have clickbaited you. I'm not exactly talking about being under the influence of marijuana or being under the influence of alcohol or anything like that, but I do want you to use that question, what am I under the influence of? And use that as like a microscope that we're going to go over the four dimensions of our life, our faith, relationships, energy, and economics. And we're just going to ask that question, like, what am I under the influence of in this area? Where are my beliefs coming from in this area? Right? My routines, my ideas on different things. Let's start with the definition of influence. Influence is the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or something, or the effect itself. All right, one more time. So influence is the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or something, or the effect itself. Now, as you're asking that question, I want you to think. What in that area has the capacity to have the effect on the character in your relationships or the behavior in your health or your development in your finances, right? Where do you have your beliefs on your faith? Like, what's influencing that stuff? And it could be getting high or getting drunk. And I'll address that because I might have, some of y'all got excited to maybe hear me talk about that. And it's a question I get a lot. And so I've answered a lot of different places on the internet. Why not have the answer in my podcast? Someone will ask, well, what are your thoughts on, like, drink every now and then, or drinking and smoking? That's usually what it comes down to. Like, the question, like, yeah, I know cigarettes are bad. How you feel like a little weed on the weekend, though? What's your thoughts on that? Or, what do you think about, like, some wine, right? Jesus turned water into wine, right? And so I get that question a lot. Usually no one's asking like, yo, is it cool to be just crazy drunk? And I think because that's kind of an easy answer, no matter what like your beliefs are on a lot of things, just like, yeah, that's probably not a good idea. So when I get those other questions, the question I usually like to ask to answer that question is what's right about it? Over the years, I think I grew up kind of just trying to stay away from everything. I was like, no drugs, no smoking, definitely. But drinking was the thing that I was like, I will never do, just because I watched the effect that it had on my dad. And I really think he got robbed of a lot of potential that he had because he just couldn't get off the drink. He just couldn't. And he ended up dying of cancer that spread to his lungs and his bones. But they believe it started in his liver, possibly just due to a lot of drinking. Like my dad, when he was like ready to go, he would be drunk. Like he would wake up and like hadn't woke up yet until he's drunk. Like that, like he got better when he was drunk. Some of you guys might have like a dad like that. Like you have your dad, and that's not like the normal version of your dad, but then like your real normal version of your dad is when he's drunk. Like he could be drunk and drive. He could be drunk and play games. He could do whatever, right? And so he drank a lot. I'd be like, Pops, what do you want for Christmas? A 28 pack? Just put a bow on it. And so where's my even thought with that? I don't even know. I completely got sidetracked talking about my pops. But oh yeah, that's that's why for me it was always like, dude, just never. Just a lot. I was like, and I've seen it, it's a generational thing too. And his dad was the same, and my granddad saw his dad like that, and so I was like, I gotta break that chain. So that was the one thing that's always been easy. But even with the smoking and any kind of drugs, I was like, nah, I'm gonna kind of box that in there. I'm gonna lay off of it. And so I always had a pretty legalistic, like hardcore stance against it, and most of it was rooted in me just being afraid of it and just being like, it's bad. It'll all ruin your life. And so I never had the open-mindedness to even hear someone talk about casual or responsible drinking or the medicinal benefits of marijuana and stuff like that. So over the years, it's been a long, long time since I've opened up about being more open-minded to it. But that's really where I'm at. And I'm always just asking the question, well, what's right about it? Because in all those different examples, whether it's drinking or smoking, there's answers that are, there's legitimate, well, this is what's wrong with it. Legitimately. But then there may also be legitimate, there's something that's right about this. And so instead of trying to be legalistic and be like, you should not or you should, I think you should really just ask that question for yourself, and you need to make the decision. But I know of people that have chronic illnesses, and there's power with marijuana. It's a great treatment. So I'm like, I can see what's right about that. That's cool. I dig it. And then someone else might, them having some wine every now and then and chilling out might be keeping their spouse alive. Maybe that's the good with it. And they're not getting drunk and they're not hurting anyone and they're not hurting their body. Like, cool. Right? So that's my question with it. I think sometimes when people asking, they're usually in a position where they're like feeling really bad or they're beating themselves up with it. And I've even been in the position where I try to find the Bible and be like, see, this is why you shouldn't do it. And really that was me saying my dad was a drunk. I'm scared. I don't ever want to be a drunk. I don't want to ruin my family like he did. And I'm afraid of this stuff. And I tried to go to the Bible and make a hardcore case that it's just not okay. And I wasn't able to find that, honestly. And I've seen other pastors talk about it and stuff. And it kind of seems like people use that to try to scare people out of it, which I think is a good idea. I think that's, I get it just because it's something that can be very, very damaging and rob someone of their life, literally like it did for my dad. But I don't like to try to lead that way, though, or to try to scare people into doing the right thing. I think we should just be educated and understand what we're doing. And then we're doing the right thing for the right reasons. And then that's more sustainable than of being scared and ignorant on something, like being ignorant of something and then being people using that as leverage to scare you not to do it. And a lot of people will parent like that, right? Because we love our kids. We want to scare them. I even felt like that at first. When I first started to get guns, I just wanted to scare them like my mom did me. Don't ever touch this thing. If you do, it'll blow your head off. Brains on the couch. You want brains on the couch? Now the kids are shaking no, I don't want brains on. All right, then. Don't ever touch my gun. And because the thought is if my kid were to get a hold of this thing can end them, literally, right? So, of course, there's safety with how you store it, but also it's they don't have to be afraid. You don't have to use that. You can. They have classes for kids that I want my kids to take. Only my oldest is old enough, but it's they can get more comfortable with it. There's a lot of kids that handle guns responsibly, and they know how they work. They know how to take them apart, and that's perfectly fine for people that choose to go that way as well. So I get the people that try to move with fear. I truly do get it. I don't think it's the best way, and I try to do my best to not move that way. And so that's why I answer those questions that way. And then because it also which I think is really important, inspires you to also do your own research. Because I'm not telling you how to live your life. Like, yep, this is. Now, there are things that I would say are clear, right? When I look in the Bible and it's like easy, right? When you're like, yo, so my neighbor was bumping their music too loud yesterday. Can I go like shoot him in the head? I'm like, nah, that's an easy one. You probably shouldn't do that, Chief. But yeah, with your drinking and your smoking, I do not know your situation. And I know you may have a really good medicinal reason for it. And I think that's awesome. I see what's right with it, you know, but I don't like when we try to make an argument. There also is someone that's using it as a crutch in their life, and you need to write it down today as we're examining. That is something that is negatively influencing you. So, I mean, you might have become dependent on it. You need it to be a good person. And I had friends like that are like, hold up, I can't even fluff with you, bro. I ain't smoked. Like, what you mean? Like, you can't smile in the morning until you smoke? All right, now what's really running things now? Right? So there's a lot of reasons. Like, if you can't be happy without it, you should really consider what's going on. Right? But when I'm a little stressed out, it just takes the edge off every now and then. All right, cool. I hear you. Right? That's cool. For some people, and see, here's what people won't tell you. For some people, that's sugar. And there's no stigma behind that because that's not illegal. But it's like some people have there's people that are responsibly using marijuana and people that are irresponsibly using sugar. And it's jacking up their life more. Like scientifically. Not even trying to make any kind of moral argument. And so I think that question is what we should be using on more areas of our life. Like, what's right with it? What is right? Yo, I'm just going to pivot this episode. No, I'm not. I've been already ranting, right? Or maybe I should. Maybe we'll just do a bonus one. Or this will be like an extra credit. I said it's the 420 special, so we're going to double up. We'll have two principles in this one. Because me answering the question, I do this podcast raw. I kind of just flow with it. I know the principle I want to talk about, but I don't plan it. So I didn't plan this rant, but I just knew people would ask, you know. I've got the question a lot. But yeah, so it makes sense to have it here for anyone that's just a podcast listener. So that's my thoughts on it. What's right? But let's take that a little bit deeper, right? And that is the principle. Our first principle is, man, what is right about? And you can ask this question again. Use this as like a magnifying glass. Think of all the major things in your life. Maybe the things that you know for a fact you might be trying to defend. And I can understand it. You might have a good defense. And because of the society we live in, someone may be trying to attack that. And that's why you feel defensive. I get that. I'm not saying being defensive over something doesn't mean it doesn't deserve to be defended. But we're just using that as a starting spot, right? Somewhere, the first place we can look, because we might find some easy answers there. When you look a little deeper and you just meditate on that, well, what's really right about this? Am I trying to justify some things that really aren't helping me? Maybe it's become a crutch and it's really holding me back from growing. I get it. Some people will be like, yo, if I don't drink though, I can't sleep at night. I get that. And that sucks. But is there a huge opportunity for you to grow into the person that can control their sleep themselves? I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm just asking it, right? I'm not even telling you. I don't know what the answer is, but it's okay to ask the question, is it holding you back? Okay? Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's someone or a relationship. And you've been holding on way too long, and don't tell them I told you this because they're going to be mad at me. But you might need to ask, what's right about this relationship? You know? You like, oh, but that's my husband. Okay, there's a lot right with that. You better figure it out. But maybe you don't have too many reasons why. Maybe they're starting to feel like the enemy, the opposition, and there's not much good coming out of it. It's okay to move on. Or like we talked about in the creator circles, just kind of move them to an outer ring. Maybe she ain't got to be your best friend. Maybe you could just see her when you see her. And it's okay, right? You can make new friends. But over the faith, relationships, energy, economics, the four dimensions, I just want you to ask that question. Well, what's right about here? And just if nothing pops up, you don't got to force it. But if something pops up, just ask that question and keep asking it. And only allow yourself to answer in the truth. Can't sugarcoat nothing, can't lie. And for the second principle, this is what I was originally going to talk about, is the same thing. I want you to ask this question, use it as a magnifying glass, and say, hey, what's influencing my faith? Why do I believe what I believe? Do I believe that there's no God just because my parents told me there was no God and I never even looked into it? I just figured my mom got to know what she's talking about, right? Or maybe it's the reverse, right? You are so secure in your belief in a God, but anytime someone throws any type of questions at it, you get super defensive because you know you don't even read your Bible. You know you haven't looked into a thing. You haven't tried to make sense of anything, maybe because you're scared on what you might find. Like you haven't looked for any type of truth in your belief. That might be just as scary of a place. Kind of seems like a faith built on sand. And the one thing I know about life is it has storms. And so it's okay to kind of get some answers we don't like, but then we need to make a plan on how to fix that. So maybe you should look into your faith. Are there answers there? You got people dying all over the world for what they believe in. I would look into it. I truly would. And that's why you guys won't see me pushing hard to try to convince you on what to believe, especially with your faith. I will on other things. I'll be trying to make a hard case. But with your faith, the worst thing you could do is believe in Jesus Christ because I told you, and that's it. That will be the weakest relationship with Christ because you need me. And that's not even Christianity at its core. And so I think you need to have your own experiences, your own research, and your own belief that it's the truth. That's when you're actually living it for the right reasons. And so I think it's okay to ask these questions with your faith. And we go to our relationships. Or again, maybe it's who's influencing this? Like maybe I'm dating this person because I thought it would make my parents happy. But I don't even like this girl. Right? Maybe you had to get someone that had a college degree or looked a certain way, sounded a certain way. And you like, man, I'm cool with the ghetto chick. I'm cool with Keisha. Again, I'm not here to give you no answers. I'm just asking you. This is your business. I got my own. What's influencing you? What's influencing your health? Right? Do you got someone? You know who was a bad influence for me is my wife. We just do so much having fun and eating and hanging out and going places that like when I'm with her and I'm happy, I just think about eating. I could go out of town. I'm on point. Don't miss nothing. Macros in check. Straight. And then watch a movie with my wife. I done fluffed up everything. That would be a bad. I even had to talk to her about it. I'm like, I need you to help me. Help me. And so that might be something you could say like, okay, these are some of the influences on me not getting the six pack that I want, or not putting on the weight that I want, or whatever, improving the health like I want. And then finally, what about your economics? What is influencing that, man? Is it you always lending money to your cousin Pookie? Is that why you're always broke? All right, Pookie might have to learn some hard lessons. And that's okay. That don't make you a bad person. You tried. Now, I ain't saying you shouldn't be there and support Pookie through that. I'm just saying it might not need to be financial. You could even print out the job application for him. But maybe that's why you broke. Or maybe certain beliefs you have, limiting beliefs. We kind of talked about that in some previous episodes. So just identify those very, very simply. And remember, you're just asking the question, not trying to figure out at the start, right? You're not even asking like, is it right? Is it wrong? You're just asking with curiosity. Like what's influencing me? Okay, we have this. How is that influencing me? Like, man, I used to go to church every week. But since I've been dating old girl, or since I've been hanging out with homeboy, I can't remember the last time I went back. I'm not even saying that's bad. Again, we're just curious. Okay. We're just curious at this point. Well, what's important to me? Where am I trying to get in my life? Okay, is this getting me closer or further from that? I mean, I said I wanted to be a youth pastor when I was 28. Okay, that's probably not a good thing then. Let's course correct. And then how can you do that? All right. So those are the two principles. We're asking what's right about it. Well, I didn't got so into it, and I kind of segued so smooth. I ain't even get to play my official beat. The 420 special threw me off. I hit y'all with the BOGO, the 2-for-1. And it threw me off, so I apologize. I like that. I like that part of the podcast, so I missed it. I'm sorry. I kind of already gave you your homework as I restated the principle. All right? And you're just using them as questions. You're armed with these two high-powered. What the heck am I thinking of? Oh, the magnifying lens. There you go. The magnifying lens. And you're using that. You're just scanning like, yo, boom, boom, boom. What's affecting me here? All right, what's got the power, the capacity to influence my character, my behaviors, my beliefs in this area? What is it? And just be curious with it, okay? But then also ask yourself different things. Well, what's right about it? That they really do go together. They're it's a good time to have two principles that kind of stack. Maybe you start there and you're asking, what are these influences? Okay, and then you come back, all right, well, what's good about that influence? What's right about it? How is it helping me? How is it building me up? And I'm not here to tell you how it is. I'm not asking your mama's opinion on it. I ain't asking your pastor, right? What do you believe? Now, of course, there's going to be overlap, right? If I'm asking you and you are serious about your religious beliefs, right? And you have reasons that it's good and then it's serving you, that's going to affect a lot of different ways. That's gonna cascade down. We talked about your faith being your foundation. So of course that's going to impact your relationships, energy, economics. All right. So some things will have it'll almost ricochet and go into other dimensions, but we're just curiously asking, what's right? How is this good? What's good about it? If you can't find nothing, we might have to get clear that it's not good for you. So we need to recalculate, adjust, change some things. All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed the 2-for-1, the 420 BOGO special. What's influencing you and what's good about it? You know what would be a great influence in your life? Now, there's no 420 special over there, no discount, but you can go to freecreatorblueprint.com. I need to mention that more. I've been getting a lot of questions on it. freecreatorblueprint.com. That is the blueprint that I use to build the business that I have today. A content-based business like this, giving out content and how to monetize that, take that to the next level. It really is a great business model, especially in the times that we have now. Now, I'm not big on, and I'm sure I'll rant on this on another episode. I'm not big on like, oh, you can only make money in this way and try to act like your thing is the best thing or the only thing that works. That's not what I'm saying. That's never my message. But what I am saying is that there are some things that are not a good idea right now. Like if you were like, yo, so Dan, I got this great idea for a restaurant I'm about to launch. I'm like, Ninja, you can't right now. That's not the best idea. And there's probably going to be things are going to go back to normal slowly if they even ever do. So people might even adjust how they go to restaurants. They got to figure some stuff out in that industry. So that's realistically probably not the best move though. But something like this, right, where you can't get furloughed, you can't get laid off, you are the business, right? You can't get fired. And there's ways to succeed and actually even thrive in this exact time that we're in. And so, yeah, I need to be more vocal on that. Y'all can check that out. freecreatorblueprint.com. And you can actually see it for free. It's the blueprint that I use to build it. All right. That is it for today. I love you guys. Y'all are oh so awesome. Keep dropping those 5-star ratings. I will catch you guys tomorrow. God first. God bless.